Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Welcome back to another edition of our Flash Talk. Yes po, after quite a while na tayo po ay hindi masyado nakikita, here we are again on our Teacher's Nest for another Flash Talk. This time around po, to talk about revisiting the RPMS PPST during the time of the COVID-19. I know very well, my dearest teachers, that you are aware of our RPMS PPST. Mahigit na din pong 2 taon na ginagamit natin ito for us to be able to assess yung pong ating performance within the school year. However, because of the issuance of this pandemic, there are things po that we need to address properly. Kailangan po ma-adapt ang ating pong RPMS PPST sa sitwasyon natin ngayon, which you all know is very unique. Kaya naman po, the central office did a lot of adjustments which we will be tackling in this Flash Talk. The Results-Based Performance Management System Orientation for 2020-2021 was conducted on February 1 to 3. Ito po ay pinanood natin via FB Live. So ito po yung po pwede niyong balikan for more details about this matter. Kasi, ang i-discuss ko lang po this time are gists of the key points, yung pong pinaka-importante lamang sa ating mga bagay-bagay na kailangan. So, unahin na po natin pag-usapan ang adjusted RPMS cycle timeline only for the school year 2020-2021. Wala naman po nabago sa mga phases ng ating RPMS PPST. They are the same 4 phases that we are doing before. Kaso, ang naiba po dito, yung timeline natin. And as we go along, makikita po natin that there are activities that are actually left behind na. Ano po? So, phase 1 is still the performance planning and commitment. Dito po, ang mga nagaganap na activities includes the discussion and issuance of the RPMS tools and the self-assessment or yung ESAT po na ginagawa natin before. All of these activities should happen before the opening of every school year. Unfortunately, because nga po nagkaroon tayo ng pandemic, we weren't able to comply with most of this. So, siguro po, all we have to do is to wait for further instructions kung kailan. We should be having po as output the signed IPCRF development plans. Ito po yung development plan na naka-base po sa ating ESAT, whatever were the findings that we will arrive at sa pag-fill out po or pagsagot ng ating ESAT, yun po yung nagiging laman ng ating development plans. And syempre, yun pong ating signed IPCRF na walang rating as a show of our commitment that these are the objectives that we are going to reach in our performance for the whole school year. And then next, we will be having the performance monitoring and coaching. This actually cover most of the time po of the whole school year. And at the same time, dito po nagaganap ang maraming technical assistance natin. The activities include performance monitoring and coaching, major review, and assessment. And this is also the basis po why I had chosen to make this particular topic as our focus for this technical assistance. Kasi nga po, this coming March, we're expected to have a mid-year review. And syempre po, through this cycle, we are expected to have agreements based on the PMCF o yung pong coaching form. Sa isang araw po ako magpapasay ng ating performance monitoring and coaching form sa inyo. Kasi po, I was actually doing this lang, typing them and then attaching your e-signatures to them. So, we were advised right now na dapat authentic yung signatures natin. So, in the days to come po, lahat ng naganap natin na ganitong technical assistance, I'll be putting them in print and then have you sign them. And then the MRF, updated IPCRF DP, and our portfolio. Yung updated IPCRF development plan po, supposedly kasi along the way, we make adjustments in our previous development plan na result ng ating ESAT. Kasi syempre naman, as we go along, there are some objectives po na nami-meet na natin and there are some naman po na alam nating medyo naiiwan. So actually, adjustments should be made. And of course, andito na po ang ating portfolio. As of this moment, I know maaaring wala pang laman yung ating portfolio kasi medyo late na din pong naibaba sa atin what are the MOVs that are needed in this year's IPCRF po. And next, we have our Phase 3. This is now the performance review and evaluation. Ito na po yung at the end of the school year, we sit together to talk about our IPCRF. We review the submitted MOVs and decide on the rating that the teacher should receive. At the end of this particular activity, nakukuha na po natin ang ating evaluation rating for the whole of the school year. And again, everything would depend on the kind of the MOVs that we are going to submit. And finally, we will be having the fourth phase. This is performance rewarding and development planning. Actually, hindi na po natin masyadong nare-realize ang phase 4 because this also serves as a springboard to another cycle of the RPMS PPST. Magsisimulan na naman po tayo ng another school year at dito po natin inilalagay ang ating IPPD o yung ating pong development plan for another school year. Based on our performance for the whole school year, ano na po ngayon yung nakita natin sa ating IPCRF na weaknesses natin that we need to improve and what are the strengths na po na we need to keep and we need to maintain. Yan. Now we have completed the entire cycle. So as you have noticed, wala po talaga siyang difference from what we have been doing for the past years. Ano po? Ang talagang kaibahan lang po niya is the dates or the month when we are conducting each one. Kasi nga, nagkaroon po ng adjustment in our school year, kaya nagkaroon din po tayo ng adjustment sa ating RPMS cycle. Now, let us try to look at this one. The next 11 RPMS objectives for this school year. You would notice along the way, or perhaps some of you have already downloaded the materials in the link that I have provided in the Teacher's Nest. Ito po siya. Some of them are retained from the previous school year RPMS, IPCRF, but some of them are actually new. Nandito pa rin po ang ating applying knowledge of content within and across curriculum areas. Hindi po yan nawala. And then we have here a new one which is ensuring the positive use of ICT. Because whether we like it or not, in this pandemic, modular man po ang ating modality, there is a need for the use of ICT, particularly po in following up and monitoring. We still have the application of a range of teaching strategies that would cultivate the critical thinking of our learners. And at the same time, andito pa rin po, this is something new sa IPCRF, but I know that everybody is also considering this every time they design their lesson. Establish a learner-centered culture by using teaching strategies that respond to their linguistic, cultural, socioeconomic, and religious backgrounds. And then we have the fifth one po, which is actually new and catered to the situation of the COVID-19. Planned and delivered a teaching strategy that are responsive to the special educational needs of learners in difficult circumstances. Ito po yung isang objective na talagang nakaangkla sa sitwasyon po natin ngayon. Sabi nga dito, this objective is specially selected for this school year as learners and the people across the globe in general have been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. The way teachers adjust and modify the teaching and the learning delivery is captured in this year's RPMS. Pero don't be mistaken, my dearest teachers, ito po ay bahagi pa rin ng mga strands ng ating pong PPST. Diyan pa rin po siya nanggaling, kaya lang, inadapt na po siya this school year kasi tamang-tama po siya sa sitwasyon natin ngayon. And then we also have used strategies for providing time-accurate and constructive feedbacking, which is also new to us because hindi siya kasama doon sa nakaraan. But this time around, as you will experience, very important talaga ang timely feedbacking. No? Something that is difficult to achieve for modular learners, pero I know naman po that everybody is actually trying very hard to be able to do their part in terms of monitoring and feedbacking. Andito pa rin po, this is from the old one, selected, develop, organize, use appropriate teaching and learning resources including ICT. Kaiba po ito doon sa kaninang binanggit natin na positive use of ICT. Kasi ito po, it does not concentrate on ICT. It just included ICT as one of the means or one of the resources na ginagamit po ng teacher in developing and delivering the lesson. Ayan, and these are the others. Nakakalimutan ko pong basahin yung kabilang side, which is the blue one. This is intended naman po for master teachers. If we are going to go back, Pareho naman po ang laman ng ating IPCRF, no? Nagkakaiba lang po sila, mapapansin nyo when you read the sentences included, medyo iba po talaga yung meaning ng sa kanila. Pero pinaka-gist po ay pareho. Like for example, set achievable and appropriate learning outcomes that are aligned with learning competencies. Ito po yung expectations sa isang proficient teacher. For the master teachers naman po, on the other hand, model to colleagues the setting of achievable and challenging learning outcomes that are aligned with learning competencies to cultivate the culture of excellence for all learners. So nagkakahawig po sila or pareho po yung pinaka-gist ng meaning nila at yung effect niya sa learner. Kaya lamang po, ilagay natin in the context that proficient teachers are asked to perform this and the highly proficient teachers naman po are intended to be modeled ng mga teachers. So, ganun lang po siya. Okay? So, andun din po yung ating building relationships with parents and guardians. Kasi nga po, even before the pandemic, ito naman talaga ay mayroon na tayong existing partnership with our parents and guardian and the wider community. But during this time of crisis, kailangan po mas strengthen natin ito because we really cannot succeed on this learning delivery without the help and the support of the community, particularly their families. Participated in professional networks to share knowledge and to enhance practice. Ito po ay crafted na rin from the previous natin. Develop a personal involvement plan based on reflection of one's practice and ongoing professional learning. So, ito po ay medyo bago din sa ating pandinig, pero alam ko naman po, these things are all being performed by our teachers. So, ayan, ang last na po noong IPCRF objectives natin, of course, is the plus factor. At ganun pa rin po ang laman noon. Okay, so there are again two types of the means of verifications or the MOV. Hindi pa rin po ito nagbabago. Dalawa pa rin po ang ating MOV. We have the main MOV, which refers to the non-negotiable MOV needed to demonstrate the attainment of an objective. Sabi po, non-negotiable. So this is a must. Pag hiningan po tayo ng MOVs, kailangan lagi siyang may main MOV. And our main MOV po is non-negotiable. It is a must. We also have the other kind of MOV, which is supporting MOV. This refers to the list of MOV ratees can choose from to support the main MOV in the attainment of a certain objective. Support lang po siya, pero hindi po nawawala yung ating main MOV. Ayan, so ito po yung ating matrix ng domains from our PPST. Ganito po yung itsura niya. The highlighted ones are the ones which were taken and included in our current IPCRF. At sabi nga po dito, 7 out of the 11 priority strands are classroom observable. Noong previous quarter or previous school year po, we have 9 out of 12 which are classroom observables. Kaya lamang po noon, out of 9 na classroom observables, in any particular observation, 7 lamang po ang ating nire-rate. Ngayon po, in the 7 classroom observables, only 3 are included po in our COT rating sheets. Ayan. So, ito naman po yung ating pinaka-main course ngayon. The very purpose of having this flash talk is to give you an idea of what are the MOVs that you could prepare to be able to come up with your IPCRF ratings that are justifiable. Ano-ano ba yung pwede nating isubmit as MOVs? Okay? So, for our objective number 1, which is applied knowledge of content within and across curriculum areas, isa lamang po ang hinihingi sa atin. This is our classroom observation tool or the COT rating sheet or inter-observer agreement form. So, yun lang po ang ilalagay natin. And how many are required? Dalawa po ang hinihingi sa atin ngayon na ating CO. So, dalawa lamang po ang ating kailangan sa part na ito. As I've mentioned, 3 lamang po among the 7 classroom observables ang nakalagay sa ating COT rating sheets. Although all of those 7 are classroom observables, pagdating po ng classroom observations, 3 lang po ang may ratings. One of them is number 5, planned and delivered teaching strategies that are responsive to the special education needs of learners in difficult circumstances. So ano po ang kailangan natin ditong MOV? balik po tayo sa COT rating sheets. This time around, we are actually not looking for any supporting, no? Yung main lamang po ang ating hinahanap na MOV. And the last po that are included in our COT rating sheets is number 7. Selected, developed, organized, and used appropriate teaching and learning resources, including ICT, to address learning goals. Again, we go back to our COT rating sheets. Ayan. So, ito na po ang ating RPMS Alternative Classroom Observation. So, kanina ko pa po binabanggit ang COT rating sheets. Ano po? And as I've mentioned also, this time around, we will be needing only 2 COT rating sheets. Kasi, dalawa lamang po ang ating classroom observation for the school year 2020-2021. Unlike before, now we should be having 4 at the end of one school year. So the alternative classroom observation for RPMS is considered only in this school year kasi wala po tayong face-to-face. So hindi pa rin po nababago, ang raters pa rin natin, si head teacher, si principal, at si master teachers. Pero kung paano po tayo magkakaroon ng classroom observation, yun po yung malaki ang change in terms of our RPMS. Ayan, so maliwanag po. 2 classroom observations for this school year. The first CO should have been conducted from January to March, no? And the other one po should be conducted from April to May. Although ang ating pong class or ang ating pong calendar year ay nag-extend until July, as of the moment, wala pa rin pong ibinibigay sa atin na changes dito. So for the time being, all the second CO are scheduled from April to May lamang po. Okay, sabi natin, there are 3 options of alternative classroom observation. The first one is online observation. So online observation po, this is synchronous learning. We have a meet, whether it's Google or Zoom. You are actually teaching and running on with your lesson exemplar. The invited ratees or raters are there. Kung 3 man po sila, andyan sila lahat. And synchronous po nagaganap ang ating pagtuturo. Which is not advisable for us since we have adopted a modular distance learning modality. Ito po kasi ay para lamang doon sa mga nag-online. The second one is the observation of a video lesson. So ito po yung inallow sa atin. Okay po? Pwede po tayo mag-record ng ating classroom demonstration para ma-rate tayo ng ating mga raters. The third one is the observation of a demonstration teaching via LAC session. Another option that was opened up for us. Kaya naman po sa mga darating na araw, meron tayong mga LAC sessions which are scheduled, and I'm sure and I know marami po sa inyo ang magde-demo sa mga LAC sessions na ito. Those are to be considered as your second CO. So, paano nga po ba tayo pumili or paano po ba tayo pipili? How do we choose the alternative classroom observation to adopt? Are we really free to choose among the 3? So, eto po yung conditions. For option number 1, this applies to teachers who will adopt online synchronous learning, regardless of the number of classes and the number of learners. For example lang po ha, kasi again, this is not available to us. For example, if you are handling 5 sections, 2 of them are online learners and the 3 are modular learners. Pwede po kayo magpa-online observation in any of those 2 sections you are handling which adopted the online distance learning modality. Okay po, pero yung 3 yung sections which are enrolled sa modular, hindi po kayo po pwede magpilit na mag-synchronous online learning or online observation sa kanila. Okay? Option number 2, observation naman, is consider when option 1 is not possible. Kasi nga, hindi naman lahat ay online. Most of us are modular. Punta tayo sa option number 2 which is a recorded video. So, iyon po yung inadapt ng mas marami sa atin. At ito po yung notes o reminders for us who are doing a video recording. Ito po yung mga importanteng dapat po natin tandaan. Number 1 is that the video lesson must have been used in lesson delivery as part of the supplementary materials. Kaya nga po nung magkaroon tayo ng ganitong CO, I advise everybody that the materials that you are going to prepare as your demonstration should be something na gagamitin natin sa ating lessons in the days to come. So, ibig sabihin, we are hitting two birds in one shot. Nagkakamarka na tayo para sa ating CO or classroom observation. At the same time, we are producing supplemental materials for our learners which would actually aid them in understanding better our lessons. Another consideration po, a video lesson must be SLM-based or MELC-aligned. No? In the cases po na hindi available ang ating self-learning modules, at least they should be MELC-aligned. Anyway, ang SLM naman po ay MELC-aligned din. Ano po? So, we won't be having a problem. Ang maganda po sa naka-MELC-based, even without the SLM, you could design your own lessons. At the end of it all, ang importante po, iisa yung competency na naipatuto natin sa ating mga bata. And the last one, a video lesson can be stored in a cloud. Kaya po ako nagsisend ng link para anybody who would like an access to it, madali po natin silang mabibigyan. There are times po na ang taga-SDO, ang ating mga EPS or mga PSDS are asking us to be observed. Gusto po nila makita how do we deliver lessons. So, eto na po yung ating po pwedeng ibigay sa kanila. Naka-cloud na po tayo. Ano ha? Yan. Option 3 naman po ay yung sa LAC, no? Consider this mode of observation when options 1 and 2 are not possible. Yun po ang sabi. Ano po? This is actually intended for pure modular learning, no? Sa LAC sessions naman po, you don't have to consider whether the lesson that you are going to prepare is already used or not, no? Because we are not going to record it. No learners will be facing us. Ano po, kasi LAC session ito. Ang kaharap po natin dito, ang ating mga colleagues, ang ating mga co-teachers. No? So, as long as you could manifest or you could achieve those 3 objectives written in our COT rating sheets, yun po yung mamarkahan po ng inyong mga raters pala po. So, ayan, there should be 2 classroom observations for the entire school year. So, in-emphasize lang po natin ito, no? CO1 from January to March and CO2 for April to May. Yun lamang po ang kinover ng ating COT rating, ng ating classroom observations for this school year. So kanina po, we have already mentioned that the 3 objectives which are classroom observable can also be seen in our COT rating sheets as indicators. So yung tatlong yun po, the MOVs we will be needing for them are our COT rating sheets kasi andoon naman po yung marka natin. What about the rest of the objectives which are also classroom observable? Again, we have to repeat that 7 out of 11 objectives in our IPCRF right now are classroom observables. 4 only are not classroom observable. So, saan natin kukuhain yung iba or ano yung magagamit natin as MOVs para sa kanila? For number 2 po, which is ensure the positive use of ICT, we can have both for the proficient teachers and the highly proficient teachers. Tingnan nyo po yung listahan natin. Any supplementary materials made by the ratee and used in the lesson delivery that highlights the positive use of ICT to facilitate the teaching and learning process. Yun po yung keyword natin dito ha, supplementary materials made by the ratee. So ano-ano itong supplementary materials na ito na supposedly are created by the ratee? Activity sheets, lesson from a self-learning module, meaning nag-author ka po ng isang lesson na nakapaloob sa SLM. Hindi po pwede na yung nasa SLM natin ngayon, yun po yung kinuha natin, kinonvert natin siya into an activity sheets, at yun na yung gagamitin natin. So, it should be something na ikaw talaga yung nag-design. Lesson plan, pwede rin po, DLP, WHLP, and exemplars. Pwede rin natin magamit dito. Okay? Video lesson, audio lesson, and other learning materials in print or digital form. Yan. Please specify nyo na lang po. So in short, lahat po ng ilalaman natin dito are supplementary materials. Ano po? In whatever form. Okay? So, yung nagpapakita ng positive use of the ICT. For example, nagkaroon kayo ng summative test using Google Forms. You can take screenshots of that as part of your MOV. Halimbawa, kagaya nung ginagawa niyo po minsan, you record your voice, for example, so that you could have a sample of a prepared speech. Pero kayo yung nag-i-speech dun sa sample na pinakita nyo. And it is recorded for everybody to see. At ginamit nyo yan sa inyong lesson. Pwede rin po yun. Okay po? So, halimbawa, nagpa-performance task po kayo na ang pinagawa po ninyo sa mga bata ay, for example, ay digital poster. Pwede rin po yun. Or a PowerPoint presentation. So, yun po, screenshots nyo na lang, pictures na lang po ang gagamitin natin dito. The same thing po siya with our master teachers. So, ayan po nga, ang number 1 objective po kasi natin is nasa COT rating sheets natin. Number 2, supplementary materials na nagpapakita ng positive use of our ICT. Ito naman yung 3, applied a range of teaching strategies to develop critical and creative thinking as well as HOTS. The same thing po ang makikita nyo. Supplementary material pa rin po ito in whatever form na maaaring nakatulong para mas matutong mag-isip logically ang ating mga bata. Supplementary pa rin po siya. For number 4, establishing a learner-centered culture by using teaching strategies that respond to their linguistic, cultural, socio-economic, and religious background. Again, supplementary materials pa rin po ito in whatever form. Paano ba natin na ipakita na we support the differences in culture of our learners, the diversity of our learners? We may have designed a specific activity for them that would highlight that we are actually taking into consideration yung kanilang mga socio-economic background, yung kanyang religious background, things like this, showing that we have been sensitive to the individuality or uniqueness of every individual. Okay? Number 5 po natin, nasa COT rating sheet. Sa number 6 naman po, use strategies for providing timely, accurate, and constructive feedback to improve learning performance. Ayan. So, evidence that highlights providing accurate and constructive feedback to improve learner performance, and that shows timeliness of feedback given to any of the following. Ito po ay activity sheet, performance quiz or test, self-learning module, pero hindi po yan ang ilalagay ninyo sa inyong MOV. Okay? We are not looking for supplementary materials that you have created. What we are looking for is the feedbacking mechanism that you have implemented in any one of these. O nagpagawa tayo ng isang activity, o nagpagawa tayo ng isang performance task. Okay? How timely is our feedbacking mechanism? Di po ba? So, paano po natin ipoprove yun? So, we have to show proof. Halimbawa po, schedule of the performance task nila ay today, and it is a Monday. Pagdating ng Tuesday, may feedback na po tayo sa bata through what? Maybe through our GC? Siguro sa pagpo-post po natin sa ating mga group chats or sa ating Facebook page. So, yun po yung ilalagay ninyo as MOVs, yung feedbacking na ginawa. Okay, hindi po ang ating hindi po itong ating what do you call this? Itong ating mismo mga activity sheets ang hinahanap. How do we give or how did we give our feedback to them? Ayan. So ang ating number 7 po nasa COT rating sheets ulit natin ha. And number 8 naman po, eto achievable and appropriate learning outcomes are set aligned with learning competencies. Ano po? So, pwede po tayo magbigay ng lesson plan, lesson exemplar, WHLP. Ang makikita na naman po natin doon kung talagang ang isinet nating objectives are aligned with our learning competencies. Pwede din po na i-highlight natin dito, nagkaroon tayo ng lecture and discussion, which are aligned to our MELC, and they are actually achievable. Yun po yung isa natin dapat natingnan dito. So, isa lang po, 1 lesson plan lang po ang hinihingi sa atin, o kaya po ay 1 WHLP or 1 lesson from our SLM. Yan, yun po ang kailangan. Number 9 naman po is one of those which are non-classroom observable na ating mga objectives. Kasi po ito, it pertains to the relationship we build with our parents. So, paano naman po ito? Proof of participation in any activity for the improvement of access to education such as, but not limited to the following. Distribution of learning materials. Kung tayo po ay nakiisa sa pagbibigay ng mga materials natin during DNR, Brigada Eskwela. Ayan. home visitations kung mayroon po tayo, and others, we need to specify that. Parent-teacher log or proof of other stakeholders meeting. Kung kayo po ay nagkakaroon ng mga scheduled meeting with your parents, pwede po nating isama ito. Any form of communication to parents and stakeholders. Yan. So, siguro po screenshots po pwede. Alam ko po kayo naman ay nagdo-document ng inyong mga ganyang ginagawa. Yan po yung hinihingi sa atin dito. These things will prove that we are actually building a stronger commitment or a stronger relationship with our parents and the home or community as a whole. Ayan, ito naman po yung participated in professional networks to share knowledge and to enhance practice. So, the same po halos din ang hinihingi naman sa atin dito na MOVs. Certificate of Completion, Certificate of Participation in the webinar, Certificate of Recognition for Speakership, any proof of participation to a benchmarking activity, any proof of participation in school lock sessions, and others, please specify. So, ito po ay may kinalaman sa mga courses and trainings na ating inattendan. May kinalaman po ito sa pagpaparticipate natin in a webinar, retooling, upskilling, and other trainings. Tayo ay nagpa-facilitate at nagiging speaker. Okay, lahat pong yan papasok sa number 10. Para pong among all the objectives that we have already encountered, ito lang po yun ang hingi ng isang main MOV at nanghihingi pa ng supporting MOV. For developed a personal improvement plan based on reflection, kailangan po natin ng isang main MOV. This is non-negotiable. Everybody should be able to submit an individual performance and commitment review form. IPPD po ito. Ito po yung nakasama sa ating one of the parts of our IPCRF. So, kailangan po nandoon yon. At may supporting MOV po na kailangan. Any document aligned with it, such as reflection on one's practice during LAC sessions, reflection or personal notes in coaching and mentoring, personal notes journal on the division, school-led inset. Ito po yung mga dati ay mga notes po na ginagawa natin or personal notes or reflection whenever we are attending LAC sessions, seminars, mga upskilling po natin at retooling, or if I am giving you technical assistance and you are jotting down those things, yun po. Nagkaroon po kayo ng FGD dahil pinagawa ko kayo ng ating mga interventions. Pwede po nyo yan gawin. I think I was able to initiate and lead some into an FGD at nagkaroon po tayo ng minutes noon. Those things po are part of your plan to be developed professionally at pwede po natin yang magamit as a supporting MOV to our IPPD. Siyempre po, nandito pa rin ang ating plus factor. Yan, perform various related works, activities that contribute to the teaching, learning process. Ito ang alam ko may ilang mga points si proficient teacher na hindi natin kagaya, highly proficient, si highly proficient pala. Meron siyang kakaiba. For us, na proficient teachers, yan, committee involvement, advisorship of co-curricular activities, involvement as module or learning material writer, involvement as a module learner material validator, participated in the ROSDO, school-initiated TV, radio-based instruction, yan, book or journal authorship, coordinatorship, coaching and mentoring, mentoring pre-service teachers, participation in demonstration teaching, pwede po dito yung mga nag-demo, participation as research presenter in a forum or conference, and others po, which are, are extra effort that you have done to be able to upskill yourself or to be able to contribute meaningfully to the institution. For the highly proficient teachers, pagdating po dito sa plus factor, medyo mas high-end yung hinihingi sa kanila. Tingnan nyo po ha. Served as OIC in the absence of the principal, represented the principal in meetings and conferences, observed teaching performances of teachers 1 to 3 kasi sila po ay nagsisiyo din sa atin. So, yun ang isa nilang plus factor dito. Assisted the school selection committee on the evaluation of credentials when hiring the promotion of teachers. Served in a committee, served as advisor to co-curricular activities, coordinatorship. Ayun, doon po tayo nagkakapareho. Pero yung po mga nauna, mas hinahanap po natin yung kay master teacher. Yan. So, ito po yung pinaka-summary po ng ating required or expected number of MOVs. So, for the first one po, sa KRA 1 natin, sa Objective 1, 2 COs po ang kailangan natin. So, 2 pong rating sheets ang kailangan. For number 2, dalawa pong supplementary materials. Syempre po, these supplementary materials should be used in different lessons. Dalawa pong magkaiba. Yan. So, sa number 3, dalawa din. Number 2, dalawa din. So, lahat po ay dalawa. Magkakaroon lang po tayo ng 4 sa KRA number 9. 4 na MOVs po ang kailangan dito. If I'm not mistaken, KRA number 9 under number 11 are the ones which are non-classroom observable. So, eto po yung mga kaugnay doon sa ating building relationship with parents. Yung participating in collegial discussions, dapat po maka-4. At pag sinabi natin 4, that should be po 4 na magkakaiba. Halimbawa, sa engagement po natin sa professional development. May isa kang seminar na inattendan, isa po yun. Kung nakalima ka ng seminar, isa lang po ang magiging count nun. Pili na lang tayo ng MOV na ibibigay natin. Nagkaroon ka ng isang committee, so po pwede po yun. Nagkaroon ka ng isang, ano pa bang doon? Mayroon kang isang notes, no po, o reflection mo in your, reflection sa LAC. Nagkaroon ka ng isang collegial discussion or FGD. Dapat po isa-isa lang at dapat po tayo makapagsabit ng 4. Okay. COs po are done from January to what was our time frame? May until May po. Yun po yung CO. Yun lang po yung acceptable. Kaya nga po sad to say, yung mga nag-FB live na nauna, hindi po sila makakount as CO nila. But, all the other supporting documents, all the other supplementary materials that you have to provide, lahat po ng ito ay pwede nyong hugutin sa anumang ginamit yung materials from the moment we started on October 5 hanggang po sa dulo. Okay? Yun lang po mga COT rating sheets natin ang kinakailangan na January to May. But all the rest, as long as school year po natin ang pinag-uusapan, pwede po doon natin siya kuhanin. There you have it po. Thank you very much. Sana po ay may naitulong ako sa inyo in this brief talk. Maliwanag po sana, naliwanagan po sana tayo, especially in the preparation of our portfolio. If you need, if you have any more questions with regard to this matter, you are very free to just chat me or PM me, or you could just leave your questions on our Teacher's Nest and I'll be trying my best to come up with answers. Mas maganda siguro sa Teacher's Nest para yung tanong nyo kasi baka tanong din ng iba, at least lahat tayo ay nakakabasa. Okay po? So once again, maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat and this is our Flash Talk on our Teacher's Nest.